let's get it.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
It's Terrific Thursday! Make it count with Morning with Vernon.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's a beautiful day out there, and let's get you caught up on everything.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now. It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
It's Terrific Thursday! Make it count with Morning with Vernon.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's a beautiful day out there, and let's get you caught up on everything.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now. It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
All right, everybody. Good morning. Time for Morning with Vernon. Y'all got your coffee cups all ready? I got mine. I got my coffee on ready. It's full too. Good morning, everybody. Coffee. You want to have coffee with Vernon this morning? Good morning. Everybody's on the sound of my voice this morning. Well, we want to tell everybody, first of all, how to get this station, okay? Just tell everybody that Morning with Vernon is on, okay? Morning with Vernon is on. And we're on every morning between 6:30 and 9 p.m. a.m. every morning, just like the angels coming floating in. Hide again, angel. All righty now, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I am talking about this morning. Good morning, everybody. That's under the sound of my voice this morning. And if you listen at me over on social media, y'all. I'm trying to get my social media up. Sometimes it act out sometimes. I don't know why and what it does and doesn't do, but sometimes it's act out on me this morning. But I want to say good morning to everybody. I hope you're enjoying your coffee and everything. Today is Thursday. Let's go over what we're going to go over with today. We normally, what I normally do, what I want to do this morning, what I change, I'm going to have an initial prayer this morning, okay? I always start the show off with a prayer. See that inspirational sound? Let's have prayer.
Our Father God, we lift our eyes up unto the hills from whence cometh your help, knowing that your help cometh from above. And so, dear God, we come to petition you this morning and to seek you out for the blessings of life. not only for this morning, but for this afternoon and for the last watch of the day. We seek you out for the blessings of life. Now, Lord, ordain your blessings upon us, upon this waiting congregation, under the sound of my weak voice. We pray in the belovedness of Jesus the Christ, our Lord, our Savior, our God. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. We thank you, Reverend J.O. Gaston, for that prayer this morning. Y'all know what we try to do is start the day off right with a little news you can use in the morning time. So your headline to start you off. Then we give you a little weather with Miss Cheryl Moran. She usually give you the weekly weather, the forecast for the whole week and during the weekend as well. Tomorrow we get the weekend weather. But today I got her to get us just what. Hey, Cheryl, I need to ask you a question, Sugar. What's the weather like for today,
Thursday looks a little calmer. Expect a high near 91 degrees, a low of 77, and about a 30% chance of rain.
All right, Sugar, thank you. That is today's weather. All right, let's look at the lottery ticket. Y'all got in the lotteries? Did you play in the lotteries last night? See what my little Sugar says about lottery this morning, okay? Sugar, you there about the lottery?
Vernon!
What?
It's Thursday Sugar Lotto time. Go get those tickets, darling. No
Okay,
lotto, no me. We gotta win,
Sugar.
baby. Love you.
All right, y'all, check those lottery tickets out. So I hope you did your lotto this morning. All right, well, let's go to my girl Lola for a traffic report this morning. Hey, Lola, what is the traffic look like this morning, Sugar?
Good morning, Vernon. I'm Lola with WBQP's Traffic Center. Here's your Thursday traffic report. Traffic is moving steadily across the Pensacola metro area this morning with the heaviest commuter volumes expected between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m. On Interstate 10, expect moderate traffic near the Highway 29 interchange, Pine Forest Road, 9 Mile Road, and the I-110 connector. Drivers should allow extra travel time approaching major exits during the morning rush. Let's go over on Highway 29. Moderate delays are possible from Brent through Ensley and north toward Cantonment. Traffic signals and commercial areas remain the primary slowdown points. Now, let's look at Davis Highway. Traffic volume is increasing near Airport Boulevard, University Parkway, and the I-10 interchange. Motorists traveling toward Pensacola International Airport should plan for slower traffic during peak commute times. If you are traveling on 9 Mile Road, traffic remains moderate between Pine Forest Road and University Parkway. Expect occasional congestion near shopping centers and major intersections. Let's peek at downtown Pensacola area traffic. Moderate congestion is expected along Cervantes Street, Palafox Street, Garden Street, and Bayfront Parkway as commuters head into the downtown business district. If you are heading toward the Pensacola Bay Chappie James Bridge, traffic flow between Gulf Breeze and Pensacola remains generally smooth. Increased volume is expected during the morning commute, but no major delays are anticipated. Roadwork alert. Drivers should remain alert for ongoing roadway improvement projects throughout Escambia County. Watch for construction crews, lane restrictions, and reduced speeds in active work zones. Safety reminder: keep a safe following distance, avoid distracted driving, and check traffic conditions before leaving home. For WBQP TV 12 and WBQP Radio, I'm Lola with WBQP's Traffic Center. Drive safe, arrive alive. Back to you, Vernon.
Thank you, Lola. We appreciate that traffic report this morning, Lola. We really do. Y'all drive safe out there. We're gonna have some warm weather, y'all. We're gonna have some really warm weather during this day. So it's Thursday, and we want you to be motivated on a Thursday. So this is our morning motivation here, y'all. I want you to take actions, stay positive, and we're just gonna have what I call a terrific Thursday.
It's Terrific Thursday!
Yeah.
Make it count with Morning with Vernon.
Amen. All right, y'all. I got a sports report from my boy Orion this morning. Orion's always eager to tell us what's happening in sports this week. Ryan, go ahead and tell them what's happening in sports this week, man.
Morning, Vernon.
What's happening?
I'm
Morning.
Orion with your WBQP Sports Report. Here's what's coming up in sports this week. FIFA World Cup. The biggest story in sports continues to be the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The tournament enters the round of 32 this week as the world's top national teams battle for a place in the round of 16. Fans can expect exciting knockout matches featuring several international soccer powers, with the United States also looking to advance in front of home crowds. Wimbledon. One of tennis's most prestigious events begins this week as Wimbledon gets underway in London. The world's top men's and women's players will compete over the next 2 weeks for one of the sport's most coveted Grand Slam championships. Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball continues its summer schedule with division races beginning to heat up. Teams are looking to build momentum before the All-Star break as every game becomes increasingly important in the playoff race. NASCAR. NASCAR drivers continue their busy summer schedule following this weekend's Toyota/Save Mart 350. Teams now turn their attention to the next race as the battle for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs intensifies. Golf. Professional golf remains in full swing, with players competing on both the PGA and LPGA tours as they prepare for the season's next major championships. Local sports. Here at home, Northwest Florida and South Alabama athletes continue participating in summer football workouts, basketball camps, baseball tournaments, and youth sports programs. High school teams are preparing for another exciting fall season, and local coaches report strong participation throughout the region. This is Orion with your WBQP Sports Report. Stay with WBQP TV 12 and WBQP Radio all week for the latest local, regional, and national sports coverage. Have a great week, Vernon. Back to you.
I will, Orion. Thank you. Orion, I didn't realize he said something about NASCAR. I didn't know that was a sport. Maybe it is. But he did say about the Wimbledon Open this morning. Serena Williams, she played in that event and she lost, barely lost on her first match. But I think it's today, Thursday. I think today, her and her sister is going to be doing a double match today. So we definitely want to holler out with them. Y'all know it is Thursday and we have our guest, my guest host this morning. On Thursday is Mr. Jerry McIntosh. He comes on a Thursday. And also my other guest host this morning for Black History is Miss Robin Richard. Now, Thursday's always our fun day. We're going to have to call it Fun Thursday, y'all. We call it Fun Thursday. I tell you that right now. So we talk about everything but what we should be talking about sometimes. On a Thursday. I'm going to have to get in some community announcement this morning, and we need to get in some Black History stuff this morning. You know what we say about Black History, you're either going to repeat it, learn it, or repeat it. And we definitely don't want to be trying to repeat no Black history. Our history is bad enough as it is. But what we're going to do, what I want to do is go ahead and take my first commercial break this morning. And when we come back from the commercial break this morning, hopefully we're going to be getting into some headline news. And we're going to talk about some news that you can use and stuff like that. Okay? So y'all tell everybody that Morning with Vernon is on. Get your coffee cup. Do whatever you need to do during the commercial break. And so you'll be sitting right back so you can find out what's happening in and around our world.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
Good morning to my Facebook friends, Lois Bless Pruitt, Janice Womack Ewing, Alan Young, Jeannie Costin, and everybody else this morning. Let's get to work.
It's Terrific Thursday! Make it count with Morning with Vernon.
Vernon, it's Thursday Sugar Lotto time. Go get those tickets, darling. No lotto, no me. We gotta win, baby. Love you. WBQP goals are to inform, to inspire, to educate, and to entertain. The station that cares.
WBQP celebrates the artists, the legends, and the sound of a generation. Join us all June long for Black Music Month, where the music never stops.
Hello, I'm Dr. Isaac Williams, and I'm running for School Board District 3. Our community is asking for change, and I agree. District 3 deserves change. District 3 deserves a representative who will listen, communicate, and stay connected to the community. Our students need every opportunity to succeed. Our teachers need support, and our community and parents need a voice. I've spent my time as a servant leader in the Marine Corps, as a pastor, as a community activist, and I'm prepared now to serve District 3 on day one. And I will be honored to earn your support and your vote on August 18th. God bless you. God keep you.
WBQP TV has officially declared 2026 as African American History Year. Teach Black history every day.
Since 1951, we've been here for our local community, creating pathways to care. We meet you where you are, with trusted doctors in convenient locations throughout the area. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now.
Reign in the new year with a dazzling smile. Dr. Paul and the team at Marcus E. Paul DMD Gentle Family and Cosmetic Dentistry offer expert and comfortable dental care. From tooth replacement to addressing various needs, their friendly staff is ready to assist. Visit their office or call for the care you deserve. Achieve a beautiful smile with Marcus E. Paul DMD Gentle Family and Cosmetic.
For 75 years, Baptist has brought innovative care to our community. Through our Andrews Institute, we continue the legacy by providing advanced total joint care, restoring mobility, strength, and quality of life. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
Sonia Bay's Botanicals is a local wellness boutique that specializes in infused fruit juices, medicinal herbal tea remedies, clean hair and body care, and herbal infused sea moss gels, which can be purchased 1 for $25 or 2 for $40. This sea moss contains 92 of the body's 102 essential minerals used to increase energy, relieve pain and inflammation, and improve blood pressure and more. From parasite cleanse to detox and weight loss to blood sugar control, Sonia Bay's Botanicals has a natural solution for you.
WBQP honors, respects, and celebrates June as Pride Month.
Check and double check your voting status. Get out and vote.
Hello, I'm David Williams, District 3 Representative, seeking re-election to the Escambia County School Board. 4 years ago, I said, together we can make a difference. Today, I'm proud to say together we have made a difference, thanks to your trust. And because of you, we do not have any failing schools. Our schools are safer. We've closed the achievement gap, and our students are college and career ready. I'm asking for your support again to re-elect me so that we continue the work that we started 4 years ago. Please visit my website at davidwilliams3.com to learn more about my initiatives I have accomplished and the ones I will pursue over the next 4 years. Early voting is August 8th through the 15th, and the primary is August 18th. Your vote is essential to keeping our community moving forward. Thank you.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Call State Farm agent Arthur Searcy for your personal price plan today.
Vernon! It's Thursday Sugar Lotto time. Go get those tickets, darling. No lotto, no me. We gotta win, baby. Love you.
WBQP salutes the spirit of America, celebrating 250 years of freedom. Happy birthday, USA!
Why wait? With Penn Air's fast approvals and low rates, getting a car loan is easier than ever. Penn Air Credit Union. Join us.
For 75 years, we've been caring for families, creating jobs, and working to build a healthier community. This is your home, and ours too. We're honored to be the trusted partner in your care. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
Hi, this is Shale Gatson of Emmaus Baptist Church, Pensacola, Florida. We come before you this morning to pray on this Thursday morning. As a matter of fact, this is our Thursday of Thanksgiving. This is where we come and give the Lord thanksgiving for just being our God. Let us pray. Father God in heaven, we come in the strength of your might and in the might of your strength on this Thursday, dear God, just giving you all the praise, all the thanksgiving, all the glory for the edification of you yourself as our God. And so, Father, we're just sheep of your pasture, and we just cry out to you this morning, just blessing you with all the praise and thanksgiving on this Thursday, dear God. Thursday, the day of thanksgiving for your people. Lord, this is our sacred prayers. We pray now in the belovedness of Jesus the Christ, our Lord, our Savior. Amen.
Hi, Vernon. Here's your WBQP weekly weather forecast. Thursday looks a little calmer. Expect a high near 91 degrees, a low of 77, and about a 30% chance of rain. And we wrap up the week on Friday with more heat and humidity. Highs reach 91 degrees with a low near 78, and there's a 40% chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Overall, expect a hot, humid week with afternoon and evening storm chances throughout the week. This is Cheryl Mulrain, and that's your weekly weather forecast on WBQP TV.
Good morning to my Facebook friends, Lois Bless Pruitt, Janice Womack Ewing, Alan Young, Jeannie Costin, and everybody else this morning. Let's get to work.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's a beautiful day out there, and let's get you caught up on everything.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How you doing this morning? It's just almost 7 o'clock, y'all. Now, I'm gonna have to go into some of the news that you can use this morning. Y'all, I tell you the truth. I want to see if I can find my what I call my my news story here that we have to sometimes get the
Good morning, Cutie Vernon. It is great to be with you today. What's happening in the news in Pensacola today?
I don't know, baby, what's happening. We gotta have to see what's happening in the news today. Let's go ahead and start it.
Live from WBQP News Desk, this is your Headlines News Summary with Vernon Watson.
All right, y'all, good morning. We got a news summary this morning. Let's see what's in the headlines, y'all, that happening overnight, happening yesterday and in and around our community today and yesterday and around the country. I'm just going to bump the headlines, my style, okay? Headlines, my style. Let's start locally here, if you will. We had a story. We reported a story. Actually, we reported it on yesterday and again today, but this is an old story that happened back in May where the Florida Power and Lights was doing some herbicide spraying, and apparently they violated some of the Florida regulation. They said they violated 13 regulations because some of the folks found their honeybees dead. They found some chickens that was dead. So that prompted an investigation into Florida Power and Light spraying. So they found 13 violations and the helicopter pilot that was doing it. And so they found them. I think the fine was like $20,000, and the helicopter pilot is suspended from spraying over there, and he got to go through some training and all that other kind of stuff. But they say that it is not over. They're still investigating some other stuff. I don't know, but I don't know all the other stuff, what they're looking for, but they are continuing their investigation into that even after they have found some violations and also fined them some $20,000. So we'll see. I need you to keep your eyes out on that story because they could be subject to an additional $20,000 fine. And I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe they want to, because they can only fine them $20,000 at a time. And so with the new, that's the max that they can do in a 12-month period, as I understand it. So, but they start a new investigation. They can start the clock again. And so that is what you got to keep your eyes out on the news. You know, on yesterday we had school board representative from District 3, Mr. David Williams on, and you know, he was running for re-election. But he mentioned yesterday about the grades was coming out, okay, for the school system. And guess what, y'all? Guess what? Escambia County, Santa Rosa County, Okaloosa County all received an A grade for the 2025-26 year school year. That's some good news. That is some good news. Okay, the Florida Department of Education, they released their 2025-2026 grades on yesterday. And so we're proud to the fact that Escambia County came in and they got an A grade. 83% of the schools upheld and exceeded the performance, what they're supposed to do. They received A. So no school in Escambia County, as I understand it now, no school in Escambia County received less than a C, but their overall grade was an A. I don't know how that worked when I went to school. I don't know. When I got a C, I didn't end up with an A in some subjects. But anyway, that's how it works. So we'll be talking to the more representative. But I want to give you an example of why this is important, okay? For an example, Montclair Elementary School was a failing school. They got an F last time. They went from an F to an A in 3 years. And let's cheer for them. Yay! Yeah. Woo! Woo! Okay, that's good for Montclair and all the other schools, you know, Blue Angel Elementary, Lipson Elementary, Montclair Elementary, Beulah Middle School, Ernest Ward, Tate High School. They all had B's last year, but they went from a B to an A this year. And Scenic Heights Elementary School increased their C grade last year to an A. Yay! Now, better than that, y'all, in our community, Montclair Elementary School increased their grades from an F to an A. Hey, that is great, y'all. What about, I'm just talking about in our community, Lincoln Park Elementary, Longleaf, Ferry Pass, Workman Middle School, all raised their grade from a C to a B. Yay! Now, Navy Point Elementary School had the biggest increase of all of the schools in terms of points, okay? They went from a D to a B. Yay! You know, that was a little bit of divine intervention went in there. Yeah, a little bit of divine intervention there. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. But we didn't get all the glory, y'all. We didn't get all the glory. You folks over in Santa Rosa County School, they did some great things. 12 out of 29 schools, though, they're receiving A. And also, the schools over in Okaloosa County did the same kind of thing. Okaloosa remained one of the only 3 school districts in the state to receive an A every year since 2014. So, congratulations, y'all. Congratulations to all of those schools. My hat's off to them. Okay. All righty. I tell you what, y'all. Let's go on to another story here. Since I get a little bit into sports here. This story, this man, his name is, he's a Pensacola native. His name is Mitchell Robinson. And he signed, he played in the playoff this year with the Boston Celtics. And so he signed a 3-year contract, y'all, with the Boston Celtics this year for a $47.4 million deal. Okay, $47.4 million 3-year deal. That ain't a bad payday, y'all. That ain't a bad payday. And good boy, what they call homeboy doing good. Okay, homeboy doing good. Michael Robinson, y'all. It's either Michael or Mitchell. Mitchell Robinson. Good deal for him in the NBA. You know that boy is about 7 foot tall. Okay, and he spent most of his career with the Knicks, and he played with the Knicks, I think, this year. But now he's going to the Celtics. Okay, 28 years old. He's going for the big league. Okay, all right, y'all. They say he averages 4.8 a game and 5.5 rebounds, and so forth. But anyhow, he grew up here in Pensacola. He attended Pine Point High School for his freshman and sophomore year, and then he played his junior and senior year for school down in St. Bernard Parish over in Louisiana. But we still claim it, okay, because he's doing good. We claim him because we trained him, okay? Put it that way. We claim him because we trained him. All right, let's move on to another story here, y'all. Excuse me. This story here has to do with Trump is announcing that he got a $415 million disaster relief project, and we're going to benefit for Florida. Okay, $415 million disaster relief for Florida, and the Escambia County is expected to get $2.1 million. That $415 million disaster relief for Florida. Now, why are we getting that disaster relief? I don't know, but anyhow, listen to WAR TV, and they give you all of the details on it. Look it up in the Pensacola News Journal. I'm just reading the headlines. I'm curious myself, but I think it was a result of those storms that came through some time ago. And I don't know whether you remember, y'all, way back in 1992 when we had a storm down that destroyed Andrews Air Force Base down in Miami. That was Hurricane Andrews back in 1992. It devastated that whole area down there and destroyed the base down there as well. But speaking of that, y'all, we know we are in hurricane season, so make sure you start preparing right now. But anyhow, we got some money coming. So y'all plan on helping the city plan on how to spend that money. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next news story that came out yesterday. But this boy here, something wrong with this boy. I'm telling you, he took a new ride in his new $400 million airplane that Qatar gave him. He gonna use as Air Force One. That would take billions of dollars. A $400 airplane as a gift, but we had to pay over $1 billion to retrofit the airplane. And so he took a ride in it yesterday for the first time. And but something wrong with that boy. I had to tell y'all, something wrong with that boy. But anyway, he's calling for something that's unprecedented. I guess he's freaking out now because he wants the Republican Party to have a convention. Every year, every 4 years, during the presidential year. We never had a convention in a midterm year before, but I guess he's freaking out because he's trying to get the Republicans energized, I guess, and he calling for them to have a midterm convention in September, so that they can strategize and do what they need to do. And I think they want to have it in Dallas, Texas, somewhere or another, around either the 9th or the 10th of September, in that general area there. But just keep your eyes out on that story. We'll see what happened. All right, the next story that you might want to pay a little bit of attention to is that this is a union story. And it's always, when you talk about union, you always talk about the underdogs. Page Union treasurer, this guy here, at the Page Union treasurer, he's facing, this is, I brought this up not because the significant, because everybody always steals money from it, but sometimes I really question how they come up with the penalties sometimes. But anyway, this Page Union treasurer faces up to 248 years in prison for stealing $94,000 in a scheme. It's a 40-year-old Page man. He served as the treasurer for a union, right? And so he pleaded guilty now because he had a scheme going on that he was siphoning off about $95,000 in the union funds for personal use, and kind of hid it. But anyhow, he got busted. His name is Clarence Penny, but he pleaded guilty to 8 counts of bank fraud and 1 count of embezzlement of union labor fund and 3 counts of falsifying labor union reports. That's according to what the report is saying from the United States Attorney out of the North District of Florida. Also, they're saying that, and this happened over a couple of years period of time from between 2020 and 2023. And he wrote himself 66 unauthorized checks from the union's account. Now, I said all of that to say that now I don't understand the penalty phases of all of this, but they saying here he is subject to 248 years in prison. Okay, now you got people that murder folks sometimes don't get but a couple years, 10-year sentence and 30-year sentence. So, but he's facing up to 248 years, and how they come up with that, because it's a 30. He's facing 30 years of prison for each count. Okay, and so they add them all together. So he got 5-6 counts of bank fraud and embezzlements and all that other kind of stuff. But I just wondered, is the man black? Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. But anyhow, let's talk about this. Cameron County is bracing for we got some hot days coming in here, y'all. Heat waves. Y'all just stay cool. That's all I can say about that. We are it's this stuff they call what we call feel like weather. The heat index, and I think what they call it, the heat index now. The heat index is going to be in the triple digits, even though the normal heat is going to be double digits, but it's what it feels like. It might be 95 degrees, but it might feel like it's 110 degrees. Man, I wish I had thought about that when I was dating. Yeah. Maybe my bank account only got $100 in it, but it sure feels like it's got 1,000. That's my banking index. But that's what they're saying now. But anyhow, you need to stay cool. Get air conditioning. check on your neighbors, check on your families, check on the old folks, check on everybody, because this thing is getting real. In particular, this weekend too, when we out and about, going to be out there looking at the fireworks and all that other kind of stuff, and out on the beaches and do whatever you need to do, enjoying your weekend. Be careful out there, okay? And particularly if you go out to the beach this weekend, the sea's been acting up. You got some rough seas out there, so you just may want to be careful out there, because the rip current out there. They got a lot of festivities going on. Channel 3 News are reporting a lot of things yesterday. I don't have everything. I know everything. I reported some stuff yesterday from Okaloosa County, Santa Rosa County, and then Escambia County. They got some exciting things going on down there, downtown. So y'all might, for the 4th of July, you might want to keep up on it and all around. We celebrating 250 years, okay, 250 years of for this country, and we deemed to be the greatest country in the world, okay, in the world. So they're gonna have a lot of sunshine. The temperature gonna be hot, and so they're probably gonna have some pop-up showers throughout the weekend and so forth. So keep that in mind when you're downtown. Okay. All right, let's move on to another story here. This story here has to do with two people. I know y'all saw that on television. And how these people, Jesus Christ, these are dumb white folks tricks, right? Okay, these are dumb white people tricks. I say that because I used to see a story on, they used to have one of these things on cable TV about that, how they do these crazy stuff. But these two people, right? These two people climbed on top of the Empire State Building, y'all. Jesus Christ. They climb up on top of the Empire State Building, okay, to get proposing to one another, okay? Now, couldn't you go to Piggly Wiggly or somewhere? That would have made a better story. I never heard anybody getting proposing in the middle of getting some bologna and hog-head cheese and say, baby, will you marry me? That would have been a lot more story. But no, they're going to be more sensational. They're going to climb up on the tippy top. You know the crazy thing about this story? They didn't have any harnesses, any wires, in this thing. Crazy story, y'all. Crazy. But each to his own. They survived it. And then they got arrested. And they said the police officer had to go up there and get him. Now, if I was a police officer, I wouldn't want that job. Now, I don't understand why they even went up there in the first place. These people had to come down anyhow. So what you going to go up there and do? Follow them down? No, they're going to come down. But anyway, when they came down, they arrested him. Okay, they arrested him. All right, let's move on to another story, y'all, because I have to have Robin in here and at about the 7:30 time frame. And Gary, University of West Florida, y'all, spiffing up their logo. Okay, yeah, if you follow that story, they got with their their athletic director says that the NCAA eligibility rules simply want them to join. They got to have what they call a simplified roster as a they're going from one category to another. Like I said, I don't know nothing about sports, but apparently college athletes that plays under the NCAA rules, and these rules have certain things they have to do and follow. And so the University of West Florida is now transitioning from one category to another category. And so now under the new one, they got new rules they got new age-based rules. I think that student athletes now have to have up to a 5-year eligibility. I don't know a lot about that and a lot about story, but you read about it. I'm just telling you, if you're into sports, then you know what I'm talking about. I know some of the eligibility requirement used to start at yearly when they were enrolled in college, but they changed it now to the fact that now I don't know. Y'all read the story. I don't know. I don't even want to get you wrong, but anyhow, but UWF is experiencing that as well as they are experiencing. They got a new logo going on at the same time, so I thought I'd throw that in there while I was there. All right, let's go on to another story here, y'all. And every day, y'all, we have to report on an accident. A 77-year-old woman was seriously hurt in an automobile crash in the back of when she crashed into back of a trailer, y'all. Okay, so again, drive alive. Okay, be careful about that. So you can read about that story as well. Okay, all right, going on. We're talking about Channel. I was talking about Channel 3 News. I get a lot of the stories just like you do, but they reported a story yesterday about they were looking at this guy here. They talking about preserving the contribution that veterans made to this country, remembering. And I'm a veteran and out of a veteran, and I think that was a good story to tell, because without the veterans, we wouldn't have a country. Okay, they are the reason that we're celebrating 250 years of America's birthday. Let's move on to another story. And y'all know that the U.S. men's national team earned their first knockout stage to win in 24 years. Can you believe that? We went first time in 24 years. They had a 2-0, 2-0 victory, a 2-0 victory there. So let's give them a hand. All right, so much for y'all. All right, let's move on to the next one. Now I know if you've been reading, listening to the news, particularly if you've been listening to cable news, everybody about to freak the hell out because these young people now are getting elected to office and that they call Democrat socialists. Mayor Mandani in New York City started the trend. Okay, and I don't know what a Democrat socialist is, but anyhow, they say they are far left Democrats. I think these are young people that's tired of the system. This lady here, 29 years old, y'all, 29. This is going to take, and I think she's out in Colorado or somewhere or another. I don't know exactly where she's at out there, but she's 29 years old, beat an incumbent that had been serving for 30 years. I mean, the person that she's beat served more time in Congress than this woman would have been alive. She's only 29 years old, and she beat a 5-term, a 6-term incumbent. So, and also last week, in different, I think it was in New York, I don't know where it was, but they elected 3 other, quote, Democrat socialists. These are the folks, if y'all know Bernie Sanders, okay? These are the folks kind of subscribe to the Bernie Sanders model of everything. And I kind of like Bernie. I like Bernie myself, okay? And now they're trying to paint them as communists. I think these people, they're for the working class. If I had to identify myself with these, whether I'm a moderate or conservative or a socialist, okay, because these folks are now, they're saying these are for the people. These are for the people. This young lady, a 29-year-old, PhD student, okay, was elected yesterday, on Tuesday, and to replace a congressman that had been in office for more than 30 years. That tells us something. These young people now saying, look, they're putting the Democratic parties on notice. Democratic Party, you don't look like you got no leadership. Democratic Party don't look like you fighting back against Trump. They're saying the same thing that the MAGA people saying. We're gonna take our country. We're gonna take our country back. Okay, and so that's what these young folks. My hat's off to them. I want to give them a hand. Yay! Yay! Now, what are y'all saying? What are these Democrats out there saying? They ain't saying nothing. All I hear is this. Just crickets out there. But anyhow, hats off to these newfound leaders, okay? And you're gonna see a lot more of them as time goes along here. Okay, time goes along. All right, let me move on from that story to this story here. They got a safety bill in Congress. You're talking about a youth safety bill in Congress that you're trying to advocate for in Congress. You need to check that story out and read a little more about what's happening with that story. Okay. Again, pay attention. I'm asking y'all, okay, and I'm asking and telling y'all to pay attention to these stories, okay, because what's happening in DC and what's happening around you, they're advocating for online safety. They got what they call an online safety bill that they're advocating for, but your folks in Congress is not doing their jobs, okay? They fell short on trying to promote a bill that would advocate safety for young people in there. So keep your eyes out on stuff like that. All right. Here, y'all, again, they're gonna have a lot of activities going on this weekend, and we got a lot of people in this country, that here for the FIFA games and stuff like that, and they helping us celebrate our 250 years, and then what's going to be happening over in DC. I know we're going to be celebrating here in DC, but we got the fans, soccer fans. Soccer is not one of the things that we're famous for here, but begin to be famous for Some of the German soccer fans will visit. There's a reporting that will visit DC, despite some backlash that people have. You got to read, get to read that story. And why people want to backlash them, I don't know. But anyhow, read that story. I'm gonna have to move on here. All right, the GOP, y'all, is divided over. Like I say, they trying to get they don't know what to do now. It's the Supreme Court didn't agree with them on certain issues. They're about to lose their mind up in here. So they're trying to find another way to fight against that birthright citizenship. We're not gonna do. They don't want that to happen. So that's why they're gonna have a convention and all that other kind of stuff. So, but it is what it is. Also, we were talking about all the new people, all the folks in this country for the World Cup series. They got a sticker that fans are putting together from all the way across the country here about these World Cup craze that bring. And this one thing about, I think I'm seeing about this World Cup, this FIFA organization now, and this sports thing. We got that in common, okay? Even though we got a divided country here, but sports obviously brings us together. A lot of things really brings us together, but I'm seeing that even with the NBA playoffs, stuff like that, people got different political opinions, but when it comes to the games and stuff like that, they kind of bring people together. And it's FIFA stuff and the World Cup stuff and stuff like that. People are coming together on that. All right, one last story here, if you will, about the Nancy Guthrie case. We reported last time that there were some ransom note or something that they had, and they say that it was deemed to be fake. All I know is that I hope they find that lady, and hopefully they will bring her home. They saying that she died, and so they're getting many different things. I know the family has to be heart wrenched on stuff like that. Okay. All right, y'all. It is 7:30 on a Thursday, and I usually have two of my guest hosts this morning. I have Mrs. Robin Richard, which is our local Pensacola Black historian, and then I have her homeboy, Mr. Jerry McIntosh. He's also my co-host on Thursday. And we come in and we're supposed to be talking about, we start off talking about Black history and local Black history. We talk about Black history in general, but we also want to talk about local Black history. And Robin is our local Black historian, and she has a wealth of knowledge about our history. And in fact, I was talking to David Hawkins. He was on yesterday. Was it on yesterday that he was on yesterday? And I told him that. He said they've been around since 1913. And I said, no, Robin Richard said that's not true. He said, and I said, she bring receipts. He said, well, I have to see my receipt because they told me 2000. They told me 1930. Good morning, Robin. How you doing? You got to give David some receipts, sugar.
David, first, good morning. And David has the receipts. And like I said, I ain't going up against what Miss Gladys Morris told him, because two things can be true at the same time. At the same time, I ain't going up against no David Hawkins. Next time I see him, he may start measuring me or something. So I ain't trying to.
hey, come around with a tape measure in his hand.
We need it. Yeah. We need an extra 6 inches. You 6 feet tall, Robin. We need an extra 6 inches just for your hair. So I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that. Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm in a whole nother, as my little great niece was saying, are we still in America? I'm in a whole nother country. I'm in Arkansas. So my niece
you're in Arkansas?
Hey, put some what's his name? Say Birdman, put some respect behind that name. Put some respect on my name.
Robin, since you're a historian, okay? I gotta ask you this. Since you from Arkansas.
Thank you. Put some respect.
Okay, Arkansas. Since you from Arkansas. Okay.
Right. True that.
Now, how y'all get from Arkansas to Arkansas?
We did not get from Arkansas to Arkansas. It has always been Arkansas. This is like most of America, this heavy Native American name. And so, pronunciations, once you go from one to another. So there is a city in Kansas called Arkansas City. Mm-hmm. They, on the other hand, did not go to public school like I did. That's for David Williams right there. They did not go to public school like I did. It is Arkansas. Arkansas. My daddy has this bad joke that I repeat way too much. That says that Arkansas is the only state that's named in the Bible. You know why?
No, why?
Because Noah looked out on the ark and saw the water. That's all I'm saying. That's my daddy's bad joke. May he rest in peace with that bad joke. I'll tell you the coffee one later.
But your dad might be right, so he went out.
He was a Bible historian. Now he was a Bible historian. So if he said it, I believe it. I believe it.
Okay, I know we very off on many different subjects, and when but being since that's maybe that runs in the family. That's the reason why you're historian. But being a Bible historian, okay? Can we go to a myth in the Bible? I don't know whether it's true or not in the Bible. Okay, I want you to follow my logic on this.
Okay, but hold on. Let me say this, and I know we having fun, but let me say this because this light. You see, I got the background blurred. I'm on 25 acres out in the country. I look gray on the camera, so and the lighting. I got all this 25-acre natural lighting around me. So if I look a whole different color, don't nobody come for me talking about Robin. Your makeup wasn't there this morning. I'm on vacation. Okay, go ahead.
You're looking absolutely gorgeous. Look at your hair. Looking.
That's rolled hair. That's rolled hair right there. That's rolled hair.
Looking a little black, Robin. You about like Charles Doing.
Ain't no. You can see that gray. Ain't no dye got in this hair.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. I can see it now.
Ain't nothing Charles Doing in dye. I'm just saying. Ain't no dye got.
But from my angle though, I see the gray now that you pointed out to me. I see it now, but it look more black than it is gray.
It's the country air, man. I'm telling you, it's the country air. It's the It's the whole just kind of relaxing vibe, being around family. I got up this morning and the rabbits did ignore me when I went outside. And if I go outside right now, the deer just gonna say, "How you doing? Welcome back." You know, it's that sort of vibe. That's ain't nobody Bobby Rush. He gonna be in Pensacola now. Ain't nobody studying me. Ain't no animals up here studying me. They say, "Welcome home, welcome home." It's all good.
I'm sitting there looking at my Facebook page. They said, "We remove your video." What in the hell they remove my video for? What? I don't see why. But anyway, goes against our terms. What did I do this morning that go against their terms? I don't know. If you think, I don't know. You know, the only thing I can say is that I got a commercial that I play for the Wahoos. Okay. And but every time, I think that might be the problem when I play that. Yeah, when I play that Wahoo commercial, it must be some copyrighted music. But you know the thing that irks me about that is that I have to pay for I pay copyright stuff. I have to pay BMI and all the folks every month. I pay them folks, and I pay them for social media as well.
What is it? Money.
But some reason, for whatever reason, certain things I can say. Certain things I play on here that just gets me. Anyhow, can we go back to the? I want to go back.
This myth that you heard in the Bible. Reverend J.L. Gaston and Reverend Sylvia Tisdale, stand by now. But go ahead.
I'm not a Bible historian at all. Since your dad was you said your dad was a Bible historian and probably rubbed off on you and everything. And I read one time, and I can tell you, I was doing some research on some stuff, and I read somewhere about some Bible stuff, and they talked about, and it's a theory, there's a theory out there too, about, and this might get a little salacious, if you will, not a little salacious, but they talked about when I don't know how to approach this subject. I really don't know how to approach the subject, but it's an interesting concept. And it might not be for mixed companies. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you what the theory is, okay? The theory is about whether or not man was made from a woman was made from man's ribs. Okay, you know the story about God
Mhm.
and Adam and
Put
got to
Adam
the
to
rib,
rest and remove the rib and
ribs and so forth. Well, you got some biblical scholars out there questioning that theory. Okay, they saying and because of the time and the era, they got they say they got the language wrong. Okay, because they say if that was true, that there's no evidence, there's no marks to prove that he's actually got the rib from the ribs. Okay.
Okay.
And they're also saying that interesting concept, what he believes is not, but it's far fetched. So you got to buckle in and stay with me on this subject. And they say there's a reason why when God kicked out Adam and Eve out the Garden of Eden and make them procreate and produce children and bear pain and stuff like that. You know the whole story about that,
I
right?
do.
Okay. And how people are conceived now. Okay, they're conceived, and how a woman was conceived out from a man, and the bottom line is, they saying that he didn't take the rib from Adam's ribs. He took the bone, if you will, what they call a batrum or something like that. He took the bone from Adam's penis. Okay. And let me tell you what, think about this for a minute, okay? Now let me show you what they saying about this. You'd be surprised what you learn when you read, okay? And now the theory
didn't we talk about ensuring the source is a valid source? Okay, but go ahead.
Okay, but they got the sources on it. I did a whole body of research on this. But you got people that got seriously believe this. Okay, seriously believe this based on the evidence. They saying that and their proof. Let me tell you what their proof is. Okay, their proof is that man is a mammal. Okay,
absolutely.
All mammals except for man has a bone, if you will, a bone-like structure in their penis, except for man. Okay, and that's why the concept you talk about when a man get a bone and stuff. That's what all that came from. Okay, I'm being funny, but I'm being serious because this. I'm
trying to think of a biologist I know to text real quick. I'm just
you know how what the theory is. Okay, they saying that if you look, the only scar that can prove that might be true is that scar. If you look the underside of that thing, okay, of a man's genitalia, there's a little line coming through that look like a scar, okay, on the underside. And so their theory is that's where that batrum, what they call it a batrum or something like that, that's where that bone came from in man, and so that's why man is the only mammal that don't have that in his penis, okay? And so therefore they believe that was the reason why the male genitalia is the purpose of life and that kind of stuff. That crazy, it's a crazy theory, but I don't know what have merit or not. What I don't know. But if you look at it and see, okay, I don't know. But those are some of the Bible scholars, that people that get really deep in the Bible. That's what they say and that's what they think. And when I read that story, I thought it was, I don't know. But then I did some follow-up research on it. Other folks, there's some, they can't prove it. They can't even prove that God pulled the ribs either. But that's their theory on there. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think three things. One, you need to stop going to Junebug's Bible Scholar Theory.org Billy Bob knows all about the Bible.com. You need to stop going to both of those sites on this. And I'm trying to keep a straight face. So
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I don't know. I was doing some research to write my book on, and I ran across that, and I got sidetracked because I thought it was fascinating, and I got sidetracked, and I did some further research on it.
Yeah.
And there's a group of scholars out there, so-called scholars out there, actually believe that.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing is I want to say about the
stop drinking.
The what?
For me to stop drinking.
No. I never tell anybody that. I do all in moderation. So the other thing I would say is that there are two ways to look at anything that you see or hear, and I'm sure there are more, but in this case, it is literal or figurative. So is it and there are ministers, pastors, theologians who discuss both of these, and when they read the Bible, that's why there's so many different versions of the Bible. Of most religious texts, there are many different words. So there's this word called literal, that you are taking it. If I say I'm climbing the mountain in 10 minutes, then you're going to take me at my word. That is my word. You are taking me literally at my word. But if I say I'm going to climb the mountain in 10 minutes and it's figurative, you're thinking, oh, well, she's just drawing me this idea that this is what she's going to do, and she's going to do it with quickness. And so it is, we'll take the Bible either literally or figuratively.
Figuratively, right?
Yeah. So this whole idea of Methuselah living hundreds of years is that, as I was discussing with a friend, a lawyer friend, so you talk about legal, this idea, and she says, well, Robin, there are many different, I was saying this, I said, oh, I'm more than halfway to 120. And this is what the Bible promised. She said, well, there are many Bibles. There are which calendar are you using? I said, I'm using the Gregorian calendar because I want my 365, 366. I want to see this whole deal. So it is this idea that you can take things literally or figuratively. So, and so I think that's what you're talking about when you say the bone, whether it was from a rib or a penis, wherever it was from, whichever body part, is that a literal meaning or a figurative meaning? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but
we are climbing. There's an old song we used to sing. I grew up for the most part United Methodist. So there's this old song we would sing. We are climbing Jacob's ladder one by one. We even say when we're talking about God, the Most High, the Creator, we're Yahweh, whatever you call. We even say the hand of God. And so think about that, the hand of God. But then we say that we worship God in spirit. So does a spirit have a hand? And so it is that sort of thing. What do you say? We genderize God. Some genderize God Father. Some say mother, father. So we genderize God. We do things from our perspective. So and then we figure. So that's a long answer to say, don't go to Junebug's theory on the Bible.com. No more.
Don't get on that ark and look out and saw water.
Now that's in the Bible. I don't care what you say. I don't care. What they say, do as I say, not as I do. That's in the Bible. That's in
ark and saw.
The ark and saw. He's been telling that story since we have a reunion, a family reunion every couple of years on another side of the family. And so we do this reunion, and before his passing, that what he would always MC or moderate the family time, and so it was inevitable he would tell that joke, and we would just the ones who heard, we were just like, oh. But then it was new people there, and so because for the majority of my family, we started from this place, and so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's a whole.
Let me ask this question then. What is the real history? What is the real history of Arkansas? You know, why they named it? Do you have any idea why they named it Arkansas?
I do not. I do not. The only thing that I used to I got a C in naming the counties in college. So I don't I don't know. I gotta go back to my Arkansas history. So so I didn't realize how important counties were until I moved to the state of Florida.
Really?
So and we do have there are a couple of different really good sites. There is an Arkansas encyclopedia. The university system, University of Arkansas system has, particularly the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, as the Butler Center for Arkansas Studies, which is a wonderful research and archival tool. There's the Arkansas Historical Commission run by the state. And so there are some really great resources for that. But before the end of the show, before the end of this, I'm gonna have where that name Arkansas came from, because I've never been asked, and I'm sure I probably didn't get it right on the test since I don't remember.
So y'all up there in Arkansas for celebrating the 250 year of America?
That would be no. That would be no. So as I said, we've been on this land. I didn't say this, but we've been on this land where I am. It was originally 40 acres, and so we have 25 acres because of some claiming by the state for a waterway. We've had two cases in our family of between the 50s and the 70s of eminent domain, and both of them were for as I can see now looking back, for the public good. So they didn't do some development. One was for a waterway, and then the other one was for where I grew up was on the base of a mountain, and literally on the side of a mountain, and so that is now a state park. And so and they did that for all the families around the mountain. And so so we've been doing for my grandmother's, my grandmother's father's side, we have been doing family reunions since the 80s here, since the early 80s. And so my next generation, my children's generation, my older siblings' children wanted to do something to sort of signal that they're okay that we passed the torch. And so they're having what they're calling a cousins reunion. So that next generation, we still have about 7 generations living, which is beautiful. We're going to see that. I think we'll see about 5 of them this weekend. And that's going to be a really beautiful thing. And so they wanted to signal with our parents, my parents, with that second generation, they wanted to signal that they wanted. So they had been planning this. They said, all we have to do as the elders in the family, and they called us the elders, as the elders in the family, is show up. And so we're not supposed to cook. We're not supposed to do nothing clean, cook. We're not supposed to do nothing but sit back, eat, and tell lies. That's my kind of reunion. That's my kind of union. So that's what's going on. So it is their version of a family reunion, but really this sort of signaling, this sort of passing the torch. And so they have a whole itinerary for the cooks, and that's all we're supposed to do. And so I'm happy with that. So a lot of little ones. The lies started yesterday, telling lies yesterday. That's a good start to a family reunion. We ain't even got to Friday yet. That's a good start.
but you know, Robin, we always talk about history and Black history, but that is really the great source of Black history. Why we have family reunions, and why we should have family reunions,
right.
Why we should be interested in genealogy, because you learn a lot about where you came from and who you are, and so forth.
Absolutely right. And not only to talk about. And I'll tell you the reason that for the broader family, the reason that the family reunion was started, that one of my elder cousins, cousin Frankie was at I believe she was at a funeral, and I believe that's what you said, that they were at a funeral, and her son, I think it was Ricky, her son Ricky said she saw him making eyes at a little girl. And so I think he said something to her. I think she said Ricky was about 12 years old. And she said, boy, that's your cousin. so
Your cousin them.
That's your cousin. Now, cousin Frankie, matter of fact, she was in if you remember the book Crowns, about African American women, and not only their hair but the hats. And matter of fact, later the Crown Act, as Derek Scott reminds me, the Crown Act came out of that. But she was in the book. She wore hats. Cousin Frankie wore hats fabulously. And so she was in the book, and the book and or the calendar, the Crown. She worked for the Forestry Service, and retired from civil service, retired from the Forestry Service, and so saw a lot, knew a lot, which was a beautiful thing, and worked on particularly women in forestry, not just African American women, but women in forestry service. She was really spearheading that effort with the Forestry Service, and so she said, we need to know our family. And so she contacted some at the time elders in the family. And so, and cousin Frankie was at that next, probably by then she was the third generation. So she wasn't even, at the top. She recently passed. And so I'm guessing she was probably in her 40s at the time when she had this. She was in her 90s when she passed. And so she contacted some of the others in the family, and including my father, that her cousin, I believe Daddy was her second cousin, and they started getting together. And in 1982, they started planning it. And then in the late 70s, in 1982, they had the first reunion. And so, again, the idea went back to her son, cousin Frankie's son, making eyes at his little, 11, 12 years old, saying that's a cute girl. And it is. And so family reunions, as our funerals, as our weddings, these sort of not necessarily impromptu, and sometimes in case of funerals, unplanned gatherings that we do are so important. What we call homecomings at churches, or big days, at gatherings at churches when you have that church anniversary. Those are really, really important things to not only visit the church and your family, but cemeteries too, to kind of see, who was there, and familiarize yourself with these names. The other thing I would suggest is, when you at a family reunion, to talk about health. And so your health history is just as important. You can say, grandma died of sugar. Well, what really does that mean?
That mean, yeah.
Yeah, what really does that mean? Or, we say, well, we don't talk about how granddaddy died, because the woman that granddaddy was with when he died wasn't grandma. So we don't talk about that. It is history. It is history that it's sometimes we don't like to uncover, but it's always shared, that you want to share in terms of history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We don't want to give this Pollyanna-ish view of our history. And so, so it's a great time to talk and just be clear. Just because someone died from some dread disease or some accident or some way that doesn't fit with your morality does not mean that their story doesn't deserve to be told. And so,
Robert,
yes.
You kind of reminded me, but you're right. And people don't like to, the dark part of their history, they don't like to tell, which is, I think, sometimes an important part, but it kind of reminded me of a joke that Richard Pryor told one time, about his father. He said his father
Okay, good. This is Adam and Eve. Okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, this ain't Adam and Eve. His father died making love to this woman. And he said they used to get teased about it. Then he said he thought about it. He said, well, you know what? He said, I'll tell you what, y'all. And if you had a choice of dying, getting hit by a truck, being shot to death, or being stabbed, or dying like my daddy died, which line would you get in? He said, I know which one I'll be in. I'll be in that long line.
You like what Bernie Mac said? Ooh, 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 ooh.
But you're talking about the family reunions and big meetings and your cousin them. That has happened to me one time. I saw this pretty little girl one time. I must have been about 17, 18 years old, and I guess we were at this church revival, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I met this little girl. Her name was Brenda Harvey. She was from Bruton, Alabama. Okay.
You were in Burnt Corn.
I was in Burnt Corn. We was in Burnt Corn. Actually,
she was in the big city of Bruton. Okay.
She's from the big city of Bruton, and we was in Burnt Corn and at a family reunion up there. So I went and told my mom, and I met this girl. She said, "Boy, forget about that. That's your cousin now." So what's your cousin now? But then the irony of the whole story is when I said her name was Brenda Harvey from Bruton, Alabama. You know who that is?
No.
She's Lionel Richie's wife. She was Lionel Richie's wife. And sometimes
wait, you know Lionel Richie?
Ex-wife, I mean, not wife. Now I don't know Lionel, but
I don't care if
she know him. She probably know him. She obviously know him in the biblical way too. But go ahead.
Just because somebody's divorced doesn't mean they're not your cousin.
Yeah.
So we need to be dancing on the ceiling. Wait a minute. I thought I only knew Lionel Richie through the Tuskegee alumni, Dr. Wiley and Eddie Todd and Miss T and Dr. Shirley Lewis Brown. I thought that's the only way. Miles, I thought that was the only way I knew Lionel Richie, but
Yeah, I know him vicariously. Okay, but anyhow, but you're talking also about the little dirty little things that goes on in our community. It kind of reminded me of another joke about the little boy. He was always calling him and telling his dad he met this girl, and his daddy said, "Son, don't tell your mama, but you can't date her, but that's your sister." And then, things happen like this for real now. Then he said he met this other little girl on the other side of town.
Oh my God.
And he said, "Son, I'm sorry, but don't tell your mama, but that's your sister." So every time he tell his daddy about his girl he met, it could be his sister. So he said he just got mad and said, "Mama, every time your daddy, every time I said I can't take no girl because everyone I meet says his sister." She says, "Son, don't worry about it. You ain't his anyway, so you can date any of them girls you want to." so
my goodness!
But again, we got Jerry in this morning. But
your homeboy, come on, rescue! What's this song? Rescue me, Lord have mercy. But what? That ancient. I thought you were gonna say the mailman, but that's even worse. That's even worse. It is very, very, very important to have these conversations. And as I learned from when my mother was making her transition, and we were all gathered. And I was, still trying to pull stories from her. She was in this reflective mood. I was trying to pull stories from her, and I was laying on the bed with her, and one of my nieces came in, and she was talking freely, and I had the recorder going, and she got to a point where she didn't want to discuss anything, but my niece was asking her this, pretty much the same questions, and she would answer. When I would ask her, she wouldn't answer. My niece would, kind of say something, and so she would answer. So what I learned from that is, and so what I did is I left the recorder there and I got out of the room. I told her, I said, keep talking. I asked keep talking. And so sometimes our parents, sometimes those that are closest to us don't want to reveal those things to us.
Yeah.
And so you may have to get someone else to break that proverbial ice and gather that information. Yeah. And especially when it comes to, health, there may be some things that are specific to a gender. For men, you may not want to talk about prostate cancer. Right. For women, you may not want to talk about cervical cancer. I'm just going to use that cancer. And so So excuse me, and so you may have to get, someone of the same gender to have that conversation, or if you have a medical profession in there, you may have to have them ease in on that conversation. However you get that information, it's important to have those things so that you can see, what is, I won't necessarily say what is genetic, but these where those where that history is in terms of health and wellness in your family as well. I think that's just as important as getting that, who's your cousin, who's your daddy, I think that's just as important. And not that it's going to be 100% accurate. Well, I think grandma died from sugar. Well, she may have had diabetes, or sugar diabetes, as we say in the country. She may have had that, but that may be a secondary factor to her, to this other, health challenge, heart disease, or something else that she had. And so it's important to have those conversations. And just like you said, that joke about, that may not really be your daddy. When you're under the oak tree having those conversations about, let me tell you what my father says, and then somebody slyly says,
your father?
That ain't your real, or, that whole idea of, because family is not often the one we're born into. Sometimes it's the one we choose. And so mom and dad, one of my girlfriends, her father was away in the military. And so she was raised by her grandparents. And so her parents, were away in the military, and she's raised by her grandparents. And so that's who she calls mom and dad. And so, you have to ensure that, especially when you're doing these records, that it's clear, and not just that they were away, but that it was for this reason, getting all of that information, because that tells you, at least on paper, who you are. May not be your whole being, your whole essence, but that gives you this great indication. And then the other final thing is using religious records, because in some, like in the state of Arkansas before, I think 1913, we didn't have this collated state. There were a lot of, and I think in Florida too, there was not this necessarily collated state deal on birth records. So you would record baptisms, which are still recorded today in churches, synagogues, mosques. They record those sorts of things. Baptisms, deaths, christening, those are other excellent records as well. And so getting, what churches or religious organizations or affiliations people were with, so that later you may be able to use that as a source for documentation, documenting something too. Because, we have some, as we call them in the country, you got jackleg preachers, probably some bootleg preachers too in my family that were my dad
and shade tree mechanics.
Shade tree mechanics, yeah. But that ain't what it says on their census record. On the census record, it says unemployed, or it says retired, something like that, or teacher. But then you know them because they're always fixing a car. You don't know what they do during the day. Their only time you see them is when you come down to the South in the summertime. And you don't know that they're a teacher, because they're off in the summertime and they're under the shade tree fixing your car, but they're, a professor or whatever. So
Jared, good morning. We would, your home girl up in your hometown, the home state of Kansas. I mean, Arkansas. And she's there, and she's there. She's there, Jared, for a family reunion. And but but I think it's so appropriate that we talk about family reunion, we talk about Black history, and that's what we talk about mainly on Thursday. But as another point of Black history, people, whether they know it or not, Black people, for the lack of a better word, invented family reunions. Okay, I know you know that, don't you?
That started when we were coming out of slavery. We went looking for our family members, and we would start working to reunite
families.
Unite our families.
Right.
that started way back then, right after slavery. People walked for miles,
Yeah, they used to put ads in the paper looking for their family members and so forth. Yeah.
So and saying that, I want to say that we are still citizens by razor thin margin in the Supreme Court in the 5-4 decision. Our birthright was at stake. Most people think it was for immigrants just coming to the country, but the birthright, the 14th Amendment and all that was written for us. And if we don't have that protection, we would become non-citizen, meaning the very person that voted for it, like Clarence Thomas, voted to overturn birthright citizenship, not knowing that he would not have any rights to the Supreme Court or to serve on a jury or to become what he think he ought to have been, and then the decision that what was the couple, the black and white couple in
Virginia?
In Virginia, the Lovett decision would have taken effect on him. But it shows you how the lack of understanding history. Someone sitting in a position of authority in the highest level of decision making, and not even understanding that if he voted for that bill, that decision, policy rather, it was going to affect him negatively to the point that he would not be able to even serve on the Supreme Court.
But let me go back to what y'all were talking about with the family reunions. And so I had this opportunity when I worked with PBS to interview Leonard Pitts. And he, Miami Herald, longtime Miami Herald columnist, amazing journalist and writer. And he wrote this book called Freeman. And I don't remember the year that he wrote it in the, I don't know, maybe 2018, 19, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And so this idea was that he and I took I was inspired by his book to write The Emancipation of Abraham, or Freedom is a Priceless Boon. So his idea was that when these men were freed, this man who named himself Freeman, I believe he was in Maryland. And so he left to go find his woman. He left to go find his wife. And I'm not making it possessive. That's the love that he had, that he left almost the north, the Maryland is south, but he left almost. He left Maryland and ventured to find his wife when in 1860. I don't think he did it based on the 1863 decision. I believe he did it based on 1865. But what he told me when I interviewed him, what Leonard Pitts told me, was that there are documented cases of thousands of African American men doing that same thing, going to find their family. So this whole idea, and I don't remember that he was trying to dispel this myth, this perception of Black men abandoning families, but I think he was trying to, and not necessarily draw a string, but shows that there perhaps may be this correlation when you had this displacement through slavery, intentional displacement through slavery of the African American family. And so he showed through this historical fiction, this book called Freeman. Get it, read it. It's a matter of fact, this weekend celebrating the Independence Day. It's a great opportunity to read this book. He showed in story where this was happening, where he, as you said, he wanted to reunite with his wife and children. He had that much love that he risked himself. He risked himself to in his life to do that.
He's right, and many more. And even to this day, that negative stereotype that Black men and don't be with their children, they leave their children and all of that. As a matter of fact, the CDC did a study and found that Black men are with their children more than any other men in the country. You know, that they take their children to ball games and things of that nature. They showed through that CDC study that Black men has a great relationship with their children. And, when they talking about baby daddies, well, Black men is into baby daddy, they into their children. So it's not like that for, all those years that Black men weren't there. There are some, that might not be with the lady that birthed the child or their wives or something, but they are usually in the children's life.
What's his name? Cody Chestnut said, "No matter how you feel, your blood's on the seal."
That's right. Right.
I forget the name of that song that he said. No matter how you feel, your blood's on the seal. You can't just treat her any way. Yeah.
But yeah, people walk for miles out of once they was quote supposed to be free, and when they were set free only to the elements, that they didn't have no job, no clothes, no food, no water, and they made a way out of no way and many of them found their families. And like Vernon said, they put ads in papers, what plantation that person was on, and all of that. They found people that could help initiate what they needed to address so they could get back with their families. And so it's many families was brought back together. Many never made it back together because of the distance and time that was between them. Some families was sent forward from here, like to California, and people actually walked and hitchhiked to places that far to find their families.
Well,
so that shows you love.
The other part is how and I do want to go back to the 250th as Vernon was saying that the other part was like in the case of the Clotilda. I don't know all of the history on it, but there were illegal activities even post when human trading, slave trading, however you want to say it, was no longer legal. That there was this idea that people either remained, as in the case of Clotilda and Lord, I just forgot the name of the town. Starts with the P. Mobile. Pritchard.
Yeah, Pritchard.
Over in Pritchard.
In Africa Town.
Africa Town. Or they returned, made efforts to return. So the Clotilda is the latest one in our modern times to know that. But then the Cinque, and I forget his Sierra Leonean name with Amistad, and that famous case that went before the courts to be returned. And so you have that, and then especially because we are a mobile society, and not only in terms of this modern time, but also even before. Now I don't know. I'm going to preface this with saying I don't know. I've heard two stories about how the tan yard came with this name. One was that, and that's the area downtown. If you think about it now, just north of the Maritime Park, downtown Pensacola. And so one, that there was documented leather tanning going on down there, and so they had these I'll say factories. It was in this industrial space. And so this is where leather tanning. So they called it the tan yard. That's one. The other one, in terms of the mobility, is that you had these people coming in, because Pensacola is a port city, that you had these people coming in, most predominantly men coming in from all parts of the world. And so here they meeting these ladies in Pensacola, and you have all of these colors mixing, and they said the babies came out tan. Now listen.
Two truths can be two truths at the same time.
At the same time.
At the same time. Thank you Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's why not only written history is important, but oral history is important. But it shows that because we're a mobile society, even in this microcosm like Pensacola, more of a microcosm like the tan yard, that you can have these things. And you're right, back to that point, two things can be true at the same time. So I still don't know why the tan yard was there, but then it may be a third. You said your grandmama said you is your version, my version, and the truth.
The truth,
So,
yeah.
A lot of them came in white, and the baby came out tan.
that's it. That's it. Or they came here black. The baby
Black
came
out tan.
Yeah.
But you know what was so ironic about the displacement? I mean the stereotypes of black folks and black baby daddies. You know who the original baby daddies was?
Was
that
white
slave owners?
They
were the original baby daddies.
Yeah, they were the
father
original.
children and left them and stuff like that.
I thought you were going back. I thought you were going back to Jesus. I thought you were talking about Bible. Okay, go ahead.
No, keep it out.
Mary and
Keep your
Joseph.
mind-
I thought you were talking about. I heard Joseph was the original step parent, so I don't know.
Well,
Joseph was baby daddy.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. We need to give Reverend Tisdale, Brother Muhammad, and J.O. Gaston back on there when we finish these conversations.
Well, we're talking about biblical stuff, but that is, y'all know that is the real truth though of faith. Y'all think about it for a minute, okay? You think about it for a minute. The story in the Bible. Can you imagine your girlfriend? Y'all gonna get married.
Oh my God!
All of a sudden, she goes away to visit her cousin them for about 3 or 4 months. Okay. She comes back pregnant, okay, and they tell you this likely story, okay.
What? Wait a minute. What had happened was that's what we say. What had happened was
what had happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but God straightened them out. So, but that's the power of faith. You got to believe. You got to have that. What do they say? You got to have that belief of a mustard seed. You got to believe. You got to believe.
Martin Luther King described faith this way. He said, faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the whole staircase. That's it. Taking that first step even when you can't see the whole staircase.
That is so true. But there's a lot to be said about faith, though. It really is. Belief. Now, I'm gonna tell you a real funny, stupid story that I live by, Robin. I swear to God, I live by it. And because it's the only truth for me because I believe it. Okay. When I find, most folks don't even pick up a penny, right? Every time I swear to God, this is so true. So help me, Jesus. It's true for me. Every time I find a penny, y'all, I get some unexpected money from somewhere. Okay. It might be due to me, but it wasn't planned income. I always get money coming to me. And it just happened just the other day, right? I was with somebody and that was a penny on the floor. I said, "There's your penny." And I said, "Well, I want to take this penny. I want to pick this penny up. I want to take it." I said, "Every time I find a penny, it brings me good luck. I swear for God." And what they said in the country, I swear for God. But I'm telling you, it wasn't 3 days later, I got an unexpected check that I wasn't even totally expected for $1,000. Honest God. But it happened only because I believe it. And I take that too. When I go to the casinos, okay, and I believe that I can't win. In the lottery, I believe I can't win. And I don't win. Okay? But I just have to be able to try to transfer that power, that mustard seed of belief into the lotto and into the Powerball and into the casinos. Maybe my life would be changed, y'all. Y'all help me understand that.
Yeah, well, I believe I will win the lotto. I've been believing it for like the last 40-some years.
But you must actually believe it then, Jerry.
Well,
you're just saying it, but not really believing it.
Have you been buying a ticket?
I buy one. I buy one every week.
Okay, all right.
But,
I just want to see how powerful your belief is.
Yeah,
Okay, there you
some
go.
day-
You got to buy
some
tickets.
weeks, some weeks I skip.
They say you got to pay to play the. I forget the lot.
Yeah,
The
pay to play. Yeah,
you got to play to win, something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, that's true.
Something like that. Lord,
yeah.
Lord have mercy.
That I guess that's my issue about casinos. And so I guess I don't play it. No one I can't win. I don't play it. But even when I play it, I'd be scared to play it because I don't want to lose
I tell
more
you,
than what I could have.
whenever I go there, I'm going there really to go to one of those restaurants or something. But I lose $20, but that's all I'm losing.
You have a limit. You have a.
I got a limit what I'm gonna lose. If I don't make nothing on that 20, well, oh well.
You don't have you have to have the faith of a mustard seed, Jerry.
Yeah, I do. Anything over $20 is too much of a mustard seed.
Yeah,
$1 over, I done broke my promise.
He's faithful. He's full. He's full. He's full. I do want to go back to looking at this whole idea of the weekend and celebrating this 250th. And I know we've been talking about some songs, but it's thinking about and you talked about it, homeboy, with this recent Supreme Court decision, and I really do appreciate Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson Brown.
Yeah, Brown Jackson.
Brown Jackson, thank you, pulling the history back and having that conversation with Clarence Thomas about his previous words and showing the importance, particularly to the African American community, of the 14th Amendment. And so even before, so we know the 14th Amendment was passed after the end of the Civil War, ratified the next year, I believe 1867. And so, but 12, 15 years before that, Frederick Douglass, who himself had been freed from slavery, should never have been, but had been.
Well, he escaped from slavery.
Yes, and so had been. He went on to work for the cause of emancipation, and so he, in 1852, he did this famed speech when he was invited to speak the what to the slave, what the meaning of the 4th of July for the Negro. What does that mean for it when you have, as we talked about some time ago, this idea that you are freeing yourself from this king, and yet you are putting people right back into slavery. It's the same thing that now we're seeing with the presidency, that he's saying in terms of history, that he's saying that we need to conserve money, that we need to raise money. And on the other hand, what they're showing, I think it was either the New York Times or the Washington Post, has done this investigative story that's shown that he has, for these millions and millions of dollars that he has made while in office, while on the other one telling people to conserve for the cause of America, and yet then he is over here in this investigative story pulling money. And so Frederick Douglass has been saying that same thing. So while he's saying it in story in 1852, what to the Negro, what to the Negro it does the 4th of July mean. Then you see back to Florida, J. Rosamond Johnson writing the what we call the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Then he's saying that I want to show you the power of not only your collective, but the power of ensuring that you see this history and not repeating it. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. So he is saying, we felt this way, we felt defeated, but yet, we sticking together and collating our hope and our history and coming out of that. So those sorts of things that we hope that the justices remember, that where this history was born in, and the power of words to show our history, whether it is in a speech like Frederick Douglass or a song like J. Rosamond Johnson penned that poem, and then so many others. I love Jill Scott's My Petition that she did in the early 2000s. which her opening line is, "You say you mean good for me, but you don't do it. You say you have a plan, but you just don't go through with it. And so you know the way I should go and I should follow, but all of your empty promises leave me hollow." And so these not necessarily protest songs, but really songs to America about how you treat every citizen. And I'm saying it's not regardless of race, creed, or color. It is because of race, creed, or color, how you treat every single citizen. And so should Black folks celebrate? And I know we asked that question before. Oh, heck to the yes, because of all of those, not only the blood, sweat, and tears that has been put in it, but also the creativity, the inventions, the promises that have been put into this country.
You know, Robin, when I first read the poem by James Weldon Johnson, all that, and you know, the you just stated the part that caught me said when hope was unborn. You know, that means that hope was lost. And you know, even though they look to the future, but the hope that would come through people like Frederick Douglass and you know Sojourner the Truth and you know Harriet Tubman, just a whole host of people. The hope, just think that the hope of a people is up on their shoulders. You know. Malcolm
Working
X.
for people unborn, as you said.
Unborn, yeah.
Unborn. So they're sitting here working for freedom of people that is to, and I don't remember which Native American tribe said this, but that they don't just look at 1 or 2 generations. They're looking at 7 generations out when they are thinking of how what their decision today will impact somebody. So I'm not just trying to get the quick buck. I'm thinking of the sustainability of my people. I'm thinking of the sustainability of my community, the sustainability of my country, the sustainability of this very world. So people that are continents away, I'm trying to make sure that this decision I'm making today will in 7 generations still be a good viewed as a good decision. So we often ask, what side of history were you on? You know, John, what's his name? The brother from Arizona, John McCain.
John McCain, right.
That he said he lived to regret. He was glad that he lived to regret his decision about Martin Luther King and casting that last vote to pass the King holiday, the Martin Luther King holiday, that he was glad to, I'm paraphrasing his words, that he was glad to be able to live to regret, that he could see the error of his ways and regret that decision and be able to correct that decision. They called him on it, but he was glad that he was able to, to make amends for that unrighteousness that he did.
And in the end, he got up off his deathbed really with that tumor on his brain and came and saved the affordable health care. That was the vote that saved the Affordable Care Act in the Senate. But because he got up, he really was on at death's door then. But he came with his bandage and everything and did a thumbs down. No questions asked. Bam, that's it. We saving this act.
Yeah, I just wonder, in terms of the justice, and I know we're, particularly in terms of Justice Thomas, he doesn't say much.
Negro Ping.
And
trailer.
So he doesn't say much. And his silence speaks loudly, and it is. I know we talked about, was it last week, this whole idea of internalized depression. I'm not psychoanalyzing the brother. I do think that there is an element of denying himself in terms of who he is, the whole of who he is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to appease a certain portion of the country, or to look a particular way to just say, this is what is Toni Morrison's blue as eye. When I look in the mirror, I don't see my beautiful brown eyes. I see blue eyes, because that's what the doll that people have called beautiful say, and I have this egregious history with this little girl that she's doing, and so I'm gonna, really make amends for myself and oppress myself within to make myself look better with Alan. Those things do not work, and so we pray that he lives to understand the impact of his decisions. But I do appreciate Judge. I'm going to get it wrong. Jackson Brown. Really saying this is what this pulpit is for, and I am to use the law. I am to understand the law to make it righteous again, not only for me, but 7 generations down the road.
And I respect Sonia Sotomayor. I'm saying I know I'm butchering that name. She read her dissent on the dais, and Alito went ballistic because especially when it was with the voting rights, and he said if he'd have knew it was going to be done that way, he would have added more to it. But she excoriated him in his decision and writing that and pushing that forward to try to usually have like 30 to 50 days or something for a decision to go through. But he pushed it out immediately so that it would not have a chance to people to debate it or to look it over. So he pushed it out there immediately and as soon as they Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, what I'm talking about, as soon as Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act hit, and they it's no longer discrimination, no longer racism and voting. As soon as they put it out there, the first hour they began to redraw districts and stop elections. That was already on the way.
Y'all remember that movie, The Blob?
Yeah. The Blob.
Two of the scariest movies I remember seeing as a child. That's why I don't like scary movies today. One was The Blob, the other was Blackula. That was two don't like scary movies for those 2 reasons. But The Blob was, I think was it a science experiment gone wrong?
Science experiment went wrong.
But the thing was, the Blob, you would think that you were protected. You would say, well, I'm going to close the door and it's not going to get to me because this is big, huge thing.
Yeah.
What you found was that any little creek or crevice that it could get into, it would start slowly. It would start creeping into the door. You close the door and you think, okay, it's nothing behind me. There's nothing that it can get to in front of me. The door's closed, the walls are up, and all you would see is a little pin light coming through. And next thing you see, here come the blob coming through. It forced its way through it. And that's how when these decisions are made, when you think that they're being made to a narrowly defined audience, it's like the blob. They find a little daylight and they inch their way through, and it becomes this whole infestation. Are you saying, well, I only want to affect these people because I don't like who they sleep with, I don't like who they love, I don't like the color of their skin, I don't like the way they conjugate a verb? Whatever you particularly say for this and narrowly define it, then that blob, it just starts being infected. They say with the war on drugs, it didn't matter as long as it was in a particular community. Oh, it's in South Central Watts. It's there. It's okay. But when it started getting out to the suburban areas, then all of a sudden we have a drug problem. We need to just say no to drugs. No, you should have said no to the drug. I don't care if it's
when you brought them in.
So if it's crack or if it's cocaine, it's still cocaine. So I don't know drugs, but I'm just saying it doesn't matter how somebody cooks it or uses it. If it's a drug and it's bad for your body, then you think, okay, it should be outlawed. But because a particular class of people use it a certain way on a spoon or something like that, I'm going down a bad drug alley here. As opposed to shooting it or snorting it, I don't know. But I'm just saying I watch too much Law and Order, and so because of that, then you have made these laws to narrowly define it for this person over here, this class of people over here. But then that blob came in and it started, well, wait a minute, I see some daylight, so I'm going to creep all the way through it. That's what I think that if the Supreme Court would look at, I don't know Supreme Court law, but I'm thinking in terms of humanity, if they would look at these and see that these decisions that you're trying to narrowly define then will blob its way. It'll find some daylight and it'll blob its way. And it may not affect this generation. It may affect that 14th Amendment has stood, as you said, homeboy, for a specific reason for a long time and has done good for a long time. But now you're trying to redefine it because of a specific class of people, again, class that you don't agree with. That you don't like. And so, history will not be on the side, it will not be on his side for sure.
Right. And the thing about it, it's so many Black people not paying attention to this thing. And it's very dangerous if we don't pay attention to it because of the ramification that it could have. I mean, you and I, it was a lot of things that we didn't have access to as citizens, and still to this day we don't. But just think, if you're not a citizen, you can't vote. You can't demand anything from the government. You could lose your people who are Black could lose their Social Security, could lose benefits that they thought they had that was guaranteed to them that they paid into. You don't have a right to Medicare and Medicaid, because you're a non-citizen. Citizens, I mean, people that work here in this country have helped propped up the Social Security benefit because they couldn't access it. Medicare and Medicaid because a lot of time they couldn't access it. Build businesses in this country and paying taxes in the country, and they are never going to benefit from unless they become citizens. So it's just a whole host of things that could affect our life directly. And indirectly affect everybody else. Because this ain't about immigrants, it's about us.
It is the humanity, and I think we do have, particularly, and I have to watch it for myself. So my mirror is right here. I have to watch it that I don't, again, watch history through these rose-colored glasses. That even though my historical concentrate, I generally do it from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, so about a 50-year period is my sweet spot. I have to make sure that I don't Pollyanna-ish this thing, as I said earlier, that I don't look through it through some rose-colored glasses. Like even though folks were emancipated, that they still had a hard back to the country. They still had a hard road to hoe. And so there was still work to be done. There was still unfairness, as you talked about. They only faced the elements, but there were. As we saw in my family, we documented in lots of families, but we have the documentation that there were these employment contracts. And you may not have been able to read because of these laws that said that you couldn't. And so particularly in the South. And so that, you signed this employment contract that literally put you back into slavery, and you signed it with your ex, but that here you have, I'm thinking I'm on equal footing, but I don't understand this language. And yet they still went through and tried to continue to make this way. And so it all wasn't this sort of Pollyannish thing, but we have to look at the whole of it in terms of our history. Looking back on it, we have to make sure that we're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Coming out of slavery, as we were talking about people traveling, they was walking and looking for family members, but also they changed the laws, the 13th Amendment, and all of that. At that time, it was very, very few prisons in the country. They had jails, but they didn't have a whole lot of prisons in the country. The industrial prison revolution started after slavery, because what they were doing, convict leasing, vacancy, all of these things could put you back into slavery under the 13th Amendment, meaning that now you could be captured and arrested for no reason, just for not having a job, congregating on the corner in a group, just a whole host of issues that
homeboy had a cop tell me he was retired. He's since passed now. City police officer, Pensacola City police officer, tell me he said when we needed the jail clean, we went and rounded them up.
Yeah, and they still do that in Louisiana.
They went and rounded them. We need the jail cleaned over the weekend. We went and rounded them up. So you're saying standing on the corner too long or jaywalking or whatever. I don't have any documented evidence of that. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah, and he was telling the truth, because that's what they used to do. Because that in Arkansas, they would pick up people on a Friday, but Monday they had to let them go because they had to get out there in them cotton fields and pick that cotton.
And the jail was clean. And the jail
was clean, but they had to get out there and, get to the cotton field. The tractor drivers, the people that chop the cotton, that pick the cotton, they weren't them rich white people weren't gonna let them stay in jail. They would call, hey, let old so and so out. I need him. I got cows and hogs. I got to make sure that's and no bail. No bail. You just got a misdemeanor or something like that. And but those are the kinds of things that have hurt us over the years. And now with the advent of private prisons in the country, and with the advent of them telling the states, when they sign a contract with the state, they have to have 80% capacity at all times. That means that you got to corrupt judges, you got to corrupt police officers, prosecutors, and the whole gamut to keep that capacity, and that means that you're gonna have to go out there and sweep up people that have done nothing wrong, but maybe be homeless. And now they, in different states now, in the southern states, they making it illegal. I think it's Louisiana, that your first offense of being homeless is a $200 fine and 6 months in jail. Wow. After that, it's a felony. You're up to 2 years. That means that now you're gonna have free labor for per person for 2 years, meaning that if you're homeless now, you got to go and work your way out of prison. Then you owe when you get out. Yeah. So
I think that's that's evidence, of our country's, bad and ugly. So even as we celebrate the 250th, it is okay to, just as you heard Judge Justice Ketanji talk to and dissent from Judge Thomas's opinion that this dissent is okay, that you have to have those challenges. That's the way you get better. There is another way. We brought our little great niece and great nephew from Florida home with us, and he's 3, and you met him because he's been the last 2 years at the Movement for Change banquet. He has been in attendance when civil rights is being celebrated and fought for, and so he'll try something and he'll go, it's hard, and so his great grandmother, my sister, always tells him he's strong, and so just affirming that. And so I started telling him when he's I said, so if it doesn't work one way, then you try another way. And that is what this idea of dissent is. It's having these conversations, not on, I know we use a lot of digital, so not just in online forms, but having these conversations in person about how my thought process is different from yours, and let me tell you about it, and then you listen to it. And so you still may not agree, and it's not walking away in agreement. It's walking away with respect and understanding that you have this opinion that is varying from. I remember that television show, was it Crossfire
Yeah, Crossfire,
two, I
right.
think they brought, yeah, they ended up bringing it back, and so you have these two
Opposing
divergent,
sides.
opposing views, having
Mhm.
this conversation. I think that makes us stronger together. It is not saying you should not criticize the president. You should not criticize the president how he is not only managing the executive branch, but how he is masterminding. This is my word. How he is masterminding the executive branch to gain some personal favor, and so you can you should be able to say that and have that conversation, and have someone disagree with it, whether you have the evidence or not. You should be able to have that dissent, have that, because that's how then we examine not only that thing that we're talking about, but our own opinions as well. Because if I hear you say something, if I hear Vernon say something very different from mine, then that's going to make my little mousy wheels turn and go, wait a minute, there is another way that I should try and do this, that I should try and think. But if I'm only in an echo chamber while I hear my voice and people who will only agree with me, and I'm sitting here listening to this only one source, then I am not growing as a country. We are, I think, if not the youngest, we are amongst the youngest democracies in the world. And so we still have a lot of room to grow. We have African countries and Asian countries that are thousands and thousands of years old. We have cultures right here, Native American cultures right here in this country that are thousands of years old that we can learn from. We are not this big behemoth that should just be able to say, well, America said it and that's it. No, we need to be examined just like anybody else. And if there is dissent, then we should be able to listen to that dissent and have that conversation without violence or retribution or anything else.
Right. And in that dissent and that, that decision, rather, that 5-4 decision, he is still out there talking. Now he's talking about getting it to Congress, which he had a snowball chance in hell getting it through Congress, because you got in the Senate, you got to have 60 some votes. And he might get it passed in a Republican Congress, but it's not going anywhere in the Senate. So it's a dead issue. But, on that side, but that's mission creep, like you say. The blog was mission creep.
Yeah.
And so we got, so now we got to make sure that we elect people that won't allow mission creep. That means that we, in this upcoming election, the midterm, we got to have a critical mass of people to turn out. Because
but even if there is mission creep in your words there, that's a great way to look at it. Even if it is mission creep, how do you ensure that you have this balance of power? So we have the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branches, but if one is co-opted in order to support or retain another, then that balance is off. And so you need to be able to say, oh, wait a minute, we're having mission creep over here. Let's refocus, let's retarget, let's look at ourselves, let's examine ourselves and see what we're doing. And more importantly, why we're doing it. Right. We're doing this so this brother over here can gain another $1 million. We're doing it, then we're not thinking 7 generations down the road. We're thinking about this one brother over here right now and gain it. And oh, by the way, he's gonna throw me a little change, and then I'm gonna go and buy a Winnebago or something. Now I'm gonna feel better because I'm in a Winnebago and I can take a picture with these other brothers who I have thought that are powerful and can
who
help
got me on a puppet string,
And so yeah. So dissent is in part why this country has been able to grow so rapidly, because there have been people who have said no and or who have said not yet, and or just who have said what's that song? Hell to the no.
No, when you were talking about the 100-year plan, 10-year, 20-year, 100-year plan, China, their plans is 1,000 years out. They plan for 1,000 years out. So long past when they are on this earth, they are planning for their children 1,000 years out. Something And it was a song that said, living for the weekend. Well, and we were
short-term goal. That's a short-term goal.
Yeah, the short-term goal. So we got to become, as the Chinese people, to me, a 1,000-year plan. That sitting down, having think tanks, putting together think tanks, because that's all the Heritage Foundation and all these other foundations are, is think tanks. And they write the legislation, give it to the state legislators, the state House, state Senate, to the Congress, to the U.S. Senate. They the one write this legislation. And so we got to be just as intentionally making sure that we write legislation and get it to their hands, whether it's balled up and thrown away or not. But they will know that you are there, that you have opposing opinion about what they are doing. And so that's where we have to go from this day forward. We're going to have to sit down and manage. And then we got to make sure that we have the kind of echo chamber, like you were saying, that's going to get information out, like what this WBQP TV. We need to expand. We need to be supporting and expanding it so that our people can hear what we have to say on a larger critical mass scale around the country, because that's all other people doing through, they're doing it through podcasts, they're doing it through social media. We need a budget just for WBQP TV to help expand the knowledge ground that's there, the swell, the intellectual intelligence that we have, so that we can put that information out there.
Wait, you said a budget, so I should get more than a penny that Vernon's paying me per year? You saying what?
Vernon, pick up that.
But see, if you pay me, I can pay you.
What? I gotta go find 2 pennies. So
Exactly. That's how it works.
Well, then,
so the reason you're not getting paid,
we're gonna take another penny to the casino. We're gonna take another.
But
hey, Robin,
PBS,
the reason you're not getting paid is because I'm not getting paid and Jared's not getting paid. We're not getting paid. When I get paid, I pay Jared and then we'll pay you.
PBS TV before all the cuts. That was one of the major reasons they stayed on so long, because they could get matching funds, because people, different foundation was supportive of PBS.
And let me just
documentary program and everything.
That's right. And the beautiful thing about PBS and in general, so it comes up under the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So you have PBS on TV and NPR on the radio side. The beautiful thing about that is, back to that Crossfire show, is that they did do things that for the most part were objective, that they gave you these basic facts. And even I think I mentioned her a couple of weeks ago, Gwen Ifill, one of my favorite journalists, that on that weekend review, that you had this thing, so that it was examined from these sides. You had at least 2 sides, and maybe she would interject a third to, or what about this, or to be able to have the conversation from these varying opinions, whether they were political or personal or corporate, that this examination, and that you could go to you knew that this news source was going to give you this objective view, this objective information. I think that's another reason that PBS has lasted so long. Even the Ken Burns documentaries, or Dr. Henry Skip Gates documentaries and information, that they've given you this well-researched, well-defined, fact-based information when they do it. And when they tell you it's a story, it's a story. This is what I think. This is my opinion. This is what I see based on this picture of this or this evidence. Yeah. We need them. Here's 2 of them. So I need to find 3 pennies now. One to give to Vernon, one to get a Jared for the casino and one to give the CPB.
Okay, y'all. We're about out of time unless y'all want to extend it. You know you.
I got to go, Bert. It's Thursday. You know I got to be at Move for Change.
Oh yeah. You know it's like me. I got a doctor's appointment too. Cause I said that it's beautiful getting old, but the sad part about it is that you can always look forward to going to a doctor's appointment at least once a week.
And you know, like your eyes and your hearing and all that get bad.
Well, as my daddy used to say, considering the alternative.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, then have David Hawkins come and measure you for
Yeah, you always keep things in perspective, Robin. I tell you.
Well, listen, that's why you got me. That's why you got. But I do want to end before we close with again as we celebrate 250. Just remember Billy Taylor's song. I wish I knew how it feels to be free. Made famous by the fantabulous Nina Simone. And just remembering again back to Frederick Douglass. Then 100 years later, here comes Billy Taylor saying, you know, he says, what to the Negro is your Independence Day. And then still 100 years later, Billy Taylor saying, I wish I knew how it feels to be free. And so, so this it's worth the fight. It's worth the fight. And that's why
it was a song by C.L. Johnson. I don't know if y'all remember. He said, something is holding me back. I wonder it's because I'm black.
Oh wow! No, I heard that one. That one.
Yeah, sure is. I remember that song, dear.
Yeah.
But Robin is too young. She don't
about that. Tell them how old I am. Tell so the airways know I'm 25.
We know you're 25, Robin.
Right.
And holding.
Hey,
the question is how long you been holding.
My lie is ain't holding. It is what it is. Don't be a player hater. But my lie is consistent now. My children, my grandchildren, they all know that age. They all know.
Okay. Y'all got anything else before we get out of here, y'all?
No, I don't, Bert.
That's
Robin, you got anything? Any last parting shots?
We are, before I forget, we are coming up on 13 years with the Pensacola Network. We'll be talking about that on the next thing. Thank y'all both so much for your support over the years. We had a really good program, a really good networking, really good interaction with Par 4 Golf this past weekend. Congratulations to them for 51 years for their charitable golf tournament. They had people coming from all over the country. It was beautiful seeing those men and women who came in to celebrate that. But they've been in it for almost 60 years since 1968. Par 4 has been around, and so it was a great thing. I went out the first day. I went out on Saturday and celebrated. Took some photos with them with the thing, and I think the Pensacola News Journal has some photos in there as well. And so just kudos to them and congratulations to them for 51 years.
All right. Folks, all right. I appreciate everybody coming in. You can look forward to every Thursday with Robin and Jerry on Thursday, y'all. And so tomorrow technically it's a holiday, right?
Technically
it's a holiday. Yeah, they're gonna celebrate tomorrow, but we're gonna be on, y'all. We're gonna be on tomorrow. And but the folks that enjoy the holiday, they're probably gonna miss the show, but we'll see you then. But anyway, is there anything else before
just remember calories don't count if it's a holiday and you smile. Calories don't count. Calories
don't count. Okay.
Not count. Yeah, that's in the Bible too.
All right, folks. All right, I got to get out of here, y'all. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow, y'all.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now.